This Dogman sighting comes out of Jackson County, Kansas, from June the 8th of 2015. It was June the 8th and school was out for the summer break. The witness says that he was lounging around his house being bored, so he decided to go outside and feed his chickens. He had around 7 at this time, saying that his family owned 7 acres of wooded land that they called the back pasture. It was great habitat for the local deer, while there was also a wild boar roaming this area. His family was having a lot of trouble with poachers. They would set up trail cameras, the motion activated ones. Now, as the witness made his way out of the house, he saw a doe laying in the tall grass. So he put down a bucket of corn feed that he had brought out for the chickens. The doe seemed to be sleeping, so he thought he would try to sneak up on it just to see how close he could get to the animal. He wanted to get his mother a picture of it. He says that he was creeping across the yard as slow and silent as he could, moving closer and closer to the deer. Now he was about 10 yards or so away from the deer. This is when he said that he noticed that the deer wasn't sleeping, but that it was dead, saying that it was the most disgusting sight that he had ever seen, while the deer intestines was completely gone. Also that the flesh of the deer was completely shredded to pieces, while everywhere he looked around this animal was absolutely covered with blood. The deer looked like it had been laying there for a while now. Most of the blood was dried up, and the smell of rotten flesh was starting to hit him now, saying that he also smelled urine and a hint of wet dog. He says that besides the rotten deer carcass, while stating that the most thing that creeped him out about this was that there was no insects at all around the deer, saying that the forest seemed deader than the deer did to him. He even noticed that his neighbor's cows wasn't making any noise at the time either. With it being completely quiet, he looked at the deer, saying it looked as if something attacked and ate about half of it, while leaving the rest. Now he says that he started heading back up to his house. While only taking a few steps towards his house, he heard a low snarling growl. He says that it sounded like a wolf, but that it was somewhat distorted, as if it was being played over an old radio. At least that's how he described it anyway. He says against his better judgment that he turned to look to see whatever was making the noise. That what he saw next was terrifying. It looked like the biggest wolf he had ever seen, saying at this time it was on all fours, that the creature had black fur that was matted in places. Now the witness said that its face was what you would expect, but that the snout seemed to be a little short for this creature, which the way this thing was curling its lips made its snout look plenty big enough to him. Now the creature's eyes were a yellow color, not a bright yellow, but a dim amber, or reddish yellow, if that makes any sense. The witness said, while its ears, on the other hand, looked like a Doberman pinscher's when they are cropped, standing straight up to a point. Now its front legs were long and muscular, as if it was a bodybuilder, the witness said, saying that this creature's paws, even if you can call them that, they looked more like hands than paws. That the creature's paws or hands had huge claws at the end of them. Now all of a sudden this creature stood straight up. When this thing stood up, the witness says that he heard the most sickening popping sound you could ever imagine, saying that it sounded like joints popping over a loudspeaker. Now the witness described the creature's body again as being a bodybuilder, very muscular, that this thing looked as if it was pumped up on steroids, saying that it was just so big. From what the witness said, the creature didn't have a tail, or at least not one that he saw. Now, as far as the creature's height goes, the witness said that he wasn't for sure, but that he was 5 foot 4 inches tall at the time of the sighting. But even with this creature being over 10 yards away, that it still towered over him, saying that he came nowhere close to this thing in height. At this time the creature let out a loud howl, which sounded more like a roar to the witness. Then the beast charged at him. Not knowing what else to do, he ran. He says he was moving across the yard just as fast as he could, with all the fear and adrenaline pumping through his body, that it seemed like it took hours to cross the yard, which was probably just a few seconds. He says that he hit the door to the house in a dead run, slamming the door behind him and locking it. He went around to all of the doors and windows, making sure that they all were locked. Now he says as he calmed down somewhat, that he realized that if this creature wanted to kill him, then he would have been dead. The witness says that he is sure that what he experienced was a bluff charge, that there was no way he would have survived if this creature attacked him. Now he was lucky to get away with his life, he says, that although this happened over 2 years ago, that thinking about it is still terrifying to him to this day. Ever since this day, if he goes out into the woods or the back pasture, that he carries a gun with him. So I hope you liked this sighting report. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. This Dogman sighting comes out of Jackson County, Kansas. The witness says that he wants to clarify a few things. That when he first saw this creature, he went on to Google search to look up what he had seen. When he came across a website with another sighting report from Jackson County, he was surprised with another person having a sighting of this creature. That he had been studying wolves for the past 3 years. Now, while Jackson County does have a healthy population of 674,000 people, and while having plenty of wildlife like deer and livestock, and knowing that there are predators in the area such as coyotes and foxes, but with the sparse woodlands, he didn't see something like a large wolf or any other type of large predator living in this area, mainly a wolf. A wolf's territory can be huge, up to 2,400 miles, he said. So it wouldn't be likely for this creature to live here in Jackson County alone. He thinks that it might have even been the same type of creature, or even the same creature that the other witness had seen, with both of their sightings being of a wolf dog-like man creature. The witness says that his encounter started with him just chilling on his laptop watching some videos of people blowing some stuff up, when he felt the urge to go to the bathroom. So he says he put his laptop down and got out of the chair. Now he said that he's not a psychic or a medium or anything like that, but maybe a sixth sense or something. He says that he has always been able to tell if someone or something was watching him. When he stood up from the chair, he just knew something was watching him. They have a huge window just above the couch, with it being 6 to 8 feet off the ground, while the top of the window was about 11 foot off the ground. The witness said that he knew he was being watched from this window. So as he turned to look in the direction of the window, he noticed the outside floodlights was on. When he noticed something duck real quick under the window. Well, this reminded him of kids playing hide and seek or something, saying that he didn't really pay it much attention due to his neighbors being drug addicts and alcoholics, that they often caught them looking into their house. So the witness continued to the bathroom, knowing that all the doors were locked. As he was returning, he noticed that the floodlight had went out. So he went back to watching his laptop. With whatever it was being gone now, the witness was back watching videos when the floodlight suddenly flashed back on. As he glanced back up to the window, expecting to see a drunk or some high idiot looking at him with a stupid look on their face, but instead he saw something that froze him in his tracks. It was a wolf, and a huge one at that. It was just looking right at him, with dirty amber yellowish eyes. When he says he noticed the creature's ears, its ears looked to have been cropped or maybe even torn. They came to a sharp point where this creature's face looked human, but not really human. It had a muscular jawline that looked human, but the rest of its face was all wolf. While it also was curling up its lips, looking like this creature was snarling at him. The witness said that he couldn't hear it growling, but by his face, he sure looked to be. With seeing this, the witness said he went into a submissive position. While he was terrified, he knew he couldn't keep eye contact with this creature. Because if he had kept eye contact with this creature, this could have been seen as a challenge by the creature itself, while running would make him look to be prey. Now the witness says that after he went into the submissive position, that it must have worked, because the creature just hit the windows, shaking the whole trailer. Then it took off. The witness thinks this creature was very aggressive by the way he hit the trailer. He says that he has never seen anything like it before or since this sighting, even though he has heard strange howls off in the distance. So what do you think about this sighting report? Drop me a comment down below. This Dogman sighting comes out of Kansas from the summer of 2016. The witness was driving back home after a day of shopping in a nearby town, saying that it was just before sunset, while the witness was enjoying the radio and admiring the sky with the sunset. The sky was a bright orange in color, so with the radio going and a beautiful sky to watch, the witness says that this is when she started into some S-curves in the road. While she made the first curve, she noticed some deer running across the road. So she hit her brakes, slowing the car. At this point, the witness started scanning the tree line for more deer, while slowing the car even more, not knowing if any more deer were coming out of the woods, mainly because on the other side of the road was a very steep drop-off that went into a farmer's field, which the deer are known to feed in. Now, while the witness was scanning the tree line for more deer, this is when the creature jumped out of the tree line, saying that this creature landed right in the middle of the road. Now, thinking back, the witness says that she thinks that this thing was chasing the deer, just the way it came out of the woods right after the deer. While landing right in front of the witness, she said that this creature cleared the road with its next stride, saying that it is so hard to comprehend what she had seen. Now she says that this creature was gray in color, while this figure had a short, sleek coat to it. The witness also didn't see a tail on this creature as it crossed the road. This creature was on all four while crossing the road, saying that this creature's height on all fours was around the same as the deer's was, with this thing's head looking very odd to her. This creature looked to have a dog's head while having cropped ears, which made it look odd to her in some way. Even the snout of this creature was off. This thing had a short muzzle, she said. Now, as this creature jumped in front of her, it did turn its head and look right at her. The creature's eyes seemed to glow not like a normal animal's eyes. This creature's eyes were a dull yellow, and they really stood out to her. But the most confusing thing to the witness was its body and the movement of this thing, with the creature being very muscular in the front end, or upper body as I would say. But as far as its back end, or lower body would go, it really looked sickly, she said, from its abdominal area through its hind legs, which were very thin, again sickly looking. Now, as far as this thing's movement goes, the witness said that it kind of moved like a human trying to move on all fours, while its gait looked lazy to the witness, but maybe not as lazy as the witness described. Now, this is just my opinion, but this creature could have been taking a good look at the witness, just pausing a little while it took her and the car in. I guess that could make it look lazy to her. So what do you think? Drop me a comment on this. Now, as the creature went over the embankment, the witness lost sight of it. Now, at this point, the witness said that she was very confused, that what she saw just didn't make sense to her, saying that she didn't tell anyone for a very long time, that when she did, she only told her husband and one good friend. She really thought people would think she had gone crazy. Her husband and her one close friend said that they had never seen or heard of anything like what she had saw. The witness says that she's not 100% for sure what she saw was a dogman, but it's the only thing she can find that even comes close to matching what she saw that day. So I hope you liked this sighting report, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. This Dogman sighting comes out of Canton, Ohio, from November 23rd of 2016. The witness says that after his sighting, he started to search for answers over the internet. Using Google search, he came across the term Dogman and other stories of a werewolf-type creature in Ohio. While finding several stories online about these creatures, he had never heard of these creatures being in Ohio. Saying that he grew up seeing movies about werewolves, but that he never believed these creatures to be real. Now, he says that he is a sales rep with a large area to cover. His region consists of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, with his main office being in Canton, Ohio. He also says that he's a city boy and that he finds it intriguing and interesting to be out in the country, while saying with his job that he finds himself out in new places and seeing some things that he thought he would ever see growing up in the city. Being on some of these back roads and meeting the people is one of his favorite part of his job. That was up until Tuesday, November the 23rd of 2016. Saying that he found himself following his GPS down an old dirt road in Lisbon, Ohio, while listening to a local channel on the radio out of Akron. when suddenly he caught sight of what looked to be a man wearing a fur coat. With this man running across the field. At first, as he noticed the man in the fur, that he was only about 10 feet into the field. Then, with what seemed to be a flash, he was over halfway across the field. Before the witness even had time to really realize that this wasn't normal. Not normal at all. Once he took in what he had just seen, the witness slammed onto his brakes and grabbed his phone, hoping to get a picture of this thing, realizing that this creature wasn't a man at all. But the animal was too fast and the witness didn't have time to get a good photo. Now, the witness said that this creature stood over 7 feet tall, while having black fur covering its body, with it also having sharp pointed ears on top of its head. With this creature running on 2 legs, now being bipedal makes this creature easy to identify. Not too many bipedal animals out there. So the witness said that this creature was fast, super fast even, that he couldn't believe a person could ever be that fast. Like the witness said, that this creature moved over halfway through the field in what he described as a flash. These animals or werewolves are said to be super fast, with the ability to make great leaps as well. The witness noticed later that this thing had a streak of white teeth as well. So yeah, I think that he might have seen a dogman. Everything matches with what a lot of other witnesses have described. So what do you think? Drop me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. And thanks for watching those endless mysteries.